Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's been a while since I've done a flip through, so I thought I would do a flip through of some of the things that I have made throughout the course of the year, or things that are kind of ongoing. So I go back and forth between working in my big journals and doing one-page spreads and bookmaking. I came to art as a bookmaker, and that is where my heart lives. I love doing books, especially now the way that I make them. It's less of a practical thing. I used to just make books as journals to write in, so they were more practical and plain. But now I make smaller ones that are more conceptual in nature, so that I can commemorate a process, or collect a bunch of things that I'm working on and put them in a home, I like to call it, in a book. So some of the things this summer are making, well, I should say not so much this summer, but this year I became a stencil designer, and I opened up my little stencil company. And it's been really fun and so exciting to come up with an idea and then have it come out as a product to use. And so when I first designed the paper dolls stencils, they were super exciting for me. And what I usually do when I create a line is I'll create, like just tons and tons of samples, and some are duds, but some I just absolutely fall in love with. And so in that case, I made this little accordion book with all my paper dolls. And actually this is featured in Somerset Studios' current issue. It is currently today, August in 2022. So in this issue of Somerset Studio, you'll see the paper dolls. I did an article on all the paper dolls, but this is one of the books featured in the article, so I thought it would be fun to do more of a close-up and personal view. I still feel like I'm learning to draw faces, and so when I get one that just seems like I didn't do it, like it's good, artists are always so critical, then I get excited. So I loved these so much, some of these faces, all from this stencils. So, and there's a link, I'll put a link in the front of my YouTube on the details, the description, so you can go see the shop. And I just love these so much. I decided to go with, like, I'm also going through many different color themes, so artists often do that. So, up until very recently, I've been going through like a fluorescent phase, like fluorescent pinks and oranges. So I did on this accordion just a long row of the colors that I love. And then I, sorry, I'm getting over COVID still, so I have this little, post-COVID cough. But I did little stencils everywhere to add patterns. These pattern ones are from Dina Wakely, who I have tons and tons of her stencils because I do a lot of work with Ranger and write articles on her stuff. And so I have a lot of those patterns in the background on the pink and the orange. And then I went back in and I did lots of little writing, and I added some postage stamps, and I did some botanical designs. I love to doodle. Doodling is just such a huge part of my mixed media work. It wasn't initially when I kind of got started doing mixed media, but now it's such a big thing for me. I just love doodling in my mixed media. So, lots of marks and doodles too. And I also used on some of these, this lady here, she was maybe my second or third paper doll that I made. These are all my samples. So like literally she might be one of the first couple. She's up there. I also sometimes will play around with collage and making my own papers. And this was from a project that I did. It's up on Stencil Girls blog. I used to be a blog writer for them, so I have lots of projects on there. They have a wonderful, inspiring blog, so you should go check it out. There's tons of artists, tons of ideas and projects on there. But I did this one that I really loved. It's probably my favorite project on there, making your own collage papers. And I love that paper, so I used it on her because it's just, I loved her, I love the paper. And then sometimes I'll just make homemade collage papers, which I feel like this could be a fun class. And then if I really like them, I will photocopy them. So like I'll keep the one that I made as my master, and then I'll just photocopy them and cut them up. Which is another fun way to work. This is another one of my stencils. So I think my very first set had some botanicals in there. So this is one of my botanical stencils. But you can see lots of doodling and contrast with the blues and the darks against the bright fluorescent colors. This one looks like my friend Eliane when I made sometimes the faces unintentionally, once they come out, because I use kind of a formula, which you can find on one of my previous videos. It's so funny to me how sometimes faces come out and they kind of tell you their story. And when this came out, it was like, oh, this looks like my friend Eliane. This is another one too that I really loved with she has like copper metallic hair. It's just so fun. Anyway, so that's that book. And then another one, I started playing around. So this summer, part of my summer collection, I did waves because I'm obsessed with, and I talk about this in one of the other videos, I'm obsessed with Hokusai, the Japanese painter. And so I like doodling on waves. I like those colors. So this summer, blues and waves have been really big. And I started playing with the wave stencils. If you turn them around, somebody on Instagram was saying something about how I should make mermaids, which is a little cutesy for me, to be quite honest. Like fairies and mermaids, I don't usually go to that place. But I was like, you know, I'm going to try. And I don't know who it was, but if you're listening, thank you. What a great idea. I had so much fun flipping my wave stencils around and then turning these mermaids in, turning these women into mermaids. And these are all from that stencil set. So like these are the same stencil, but you know, I design them so that you can really play around with them and alter them and make them your own. And I used half of the stencil on top of a wave, and it just came out so fun. I should probably do a video on how to do that because a lot of people have asked. I do have some on Instagram, but they're a little sped up, so it's a little fast. Anyway, and then again, part of my summer collection, I tried to make some coral things and seashells. I love like nautilus shells, just obsessed. And this one I cut out so it kind of looks like barnacle and netting. And I even use like the netting that, I always save the netting that fruit and vegetables come in because I just think it's such a cool thing to use to add contrast to your art. And I just love these ladies. And again, I really liked how their faces turned out. They looked way better than I can normally do, but sometimes it happens. Sometimes I make a face and I'm like, oh, that actually turned out well. And so I want to save them. I don't want to just put them like on a journal page and forget about them. So I'll commemorate them in a book. So those are those two books. And then I thought I would flip through. I have all these Dina Wakely different size journals. I like to work in these a lot. And, you know, until up to recently, I was going through like 3 or 4 a year, but now I'm trying to think of when I started this one, probably in December. So, and I'm not even halfway through. I'm getting there. So this one was just really an experiment with color and just playing. Sometimes I don't really try to make a finished piece. I just try to do something really fun and relaxed. And these big marks are from the Dina Wakely tissue. This is from a page from Keisha. My friend Keisha Divini has these beautiful stencils that she did with Stencil Girl, and so I did a little page on that. This is actually an Instagram video. You can see me do that. And this was like some scribbling that my child did, and then I did some doodles on it. These are actually stamps that I made, and I just put those on there. But a lot of the time I'm just kind of playing around with different themes. And also I like to work in here. I still write quite a few projects and articles for Ranger. And so sometimes, you know, like there'll be a theme, like this one was clearly February. And I was highlighting a new stamp set that came out. So I did something in pink with lots of hearts. So this is part of that same release, and also like the new colors came out, so I was using those. I think this is Rouge and Tangelo. And it's funny, I kind of like the constraints of doing some of the influence work because I'm giving something that's not mine and to play with, and you know, my goal is to kind of play with it, make it look beautiful and fun, but do it in my own style. And so I really enjoy it. And I just love Dina's art. So, you know, it's just super awesome. These are the new ledger pages she came out with this year. These colors I love. So I'll learn about color combinations too when I'm playing, because often I'll be given colors to use that I wouldn't normally use. And then by playing with them, I fall in love. So this stamp I love. This is one of my favorite stamps. I might be able to get it. I might not. I think it's called Church Doodles. And it looks like this. But I just loved playing with the faces and kind of cutting them off and putting them in. This is a really fun practice in your own art journaling. If you stamp an image of a face, or you cut out an image or draw an image, to cut it in half in different ways and kind of repeat it and place around. It's just like a really fun practice. Doing some more. This is all from that release with these stamps and the green and the syrup, sage, real pretty colors. And then this is, so this book will have a lot of my kind of influencing work that I do for different companies. So I like to work in a journal when I do that. This is for Darkroom Door. Last year came out with these really cool different collage stamps and scribbly flowers. I'm trying to see. All my stamps are right below. So I might be able to pull some of these out. I'm just looking. Carved leaves, scribble flowers. This was a fun one. So that's these. So I was playing around with those. And just playing around with the different, I think this is called orbs or scallops. I can't remember, but just so fun. So these are all, this is all Darkroom Door stencils and stamps, things like that. This was a fun day where my son and I, we have a kids art book, and it's just has different examples of things to, I'll get the book. It's right over here. It's out of print, but I'm sure you could find it. 365 Things to Paint and Draw. It's a really great book. It's for kids, but honestly, there's really a lot of fun stuff for adults. And you make these birds so easily just by finger painting. And so we played with that, and I was using my funky forest stencils to have some trees and branches for the birds. But this was really fun. I should do that again. Here's some more from the darkroom door release. These are all darkroom door stamps and stencils. I think these are, no, these are stamps too. I had so much fun. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. And then this is from this year. I did a little stint for All in Crate, which is another wonderful, amazing company. They have beautiful stamps and stencils. So this is a project I did for them. I really, really like how it turned out. And I like working in monochrome. It's really fun. This is part of one of my earlier releases this year where I did forest stencils, and so I totally went with a Gustav Klimt kind of feel for this one. You can see the copper and gold, and I used a lot of Dina Wakely Marine for this. These are actually I don't even know if you can get these anymore. These are like Dina Wakely Wave stencils, I think they're called. They're real pretty. So I use those in the background. But these are all like the trees, the paper doll, and funky forest from that collection. This was a quick little page that I did. I think this is on my Instagram as a video. And then this is one of my samples that I was working on for this summer release, where these are all fossils and wave stencils, another paper doll, this from the second collection. And then I have a little tag here, a scrappy tag from Ricky Tiki Tavi, who's one of my favorite artists on Instagram. I love her to death. She helps me with all my Etsy questions. And I'm just experimenting here with all the different stamps and stencils. And I think that's it. Oh, wait, there's one more. Here's another one. This is my fossils stencil. This stencil is probably now officially my favorite stencil. When I first came up with ideas for this collection, it was the Nautilus that got me started on the path to the whole summer collection. I was doing a puzzle with my son on nature, and it had these like fossil shapes. And I was like, oh, I want to make that into a stencil. And I played around with it. That was like last year, and I never did anything with it. I just had the shape. And then I got thinking about summer and ocean and that sort of thing. So I added it to this bigger stencil that was based on some previous work that I had done. And like these were based on another book that I had done. So I put them all in one. But I love how I can use them and just make like one single piece of art. So I've been playing around with those. I actually have a piece hanging in my bathroom from this set where you just put the set down, do some watercolors. You can make like beautiful art just with that whole stencil, because it's like a 9.5 by 11. So I really need to get back into working on this journal, because I used to have a routine where I did like 3 or 4 pages a day, and I really haven't gotten very far. So that is pretty much it for today, but I do plan to do a lot more flip throughs, kind of like 2 or 3 at a time going forward. So hopefully I'll have more of those coming soon. And again, you can check out my shop on Etsy. It's Megan Quinlan Studio, no spaces, I think. And hopefully I will be back soon.